Yes, good afternoon, students. So today we will discuss first transient overvoltage, and then after that we will discuss circuit breaker, transient overvoltage and circuit breaker. Right. So first of all, in any of the this DC line, in any of the DC line, there are different types of the fault. One is pole to pole. Different types of the fault in any HVDC line or any DC line is different types of faults in any HVDC transmission line. HVDC transmission line are pole to pole. First is pole to pole fault, and second is pole to ground fault. Pole to pole fault and pole to ground fault. Right. So pole to ground fault. Further, I think we had already studied different types of the link, bipolar, monopolar, or like that. Right. So that in case of this DC line, pole to ground fault in bipolar DC line can result in transient overvoltage. Right. Pole to ground fault in bipolar line, pole to ground fault in bipolar DC line, can result in results in transient overvoltage. Transient overvoltages. So generally these two kinds of the faults are there, and this fault, that is pole to ground fault, this may cause for transient overvoltage, right? And one thing, that is magnitude of the current during this condition. Magnitude of the current during this condition of the transient may reach up to 2.0 per unit, right? Magnitude of the current, during transient condition, may reach up to 2.0 per unit, right? In per unit system, this will reach up to 2.0, and typically this value may move up to 1.7 per unit. 1.7 per unit, right? The maximum overvoltage occur at the midpoint in a pole when the fault is also at the midpoint. When fault is at the midpoint, at that time maximum overvoltage may occur, right? So there are further, the maximum overvoltage occurs at a location which is a mirror image of the fault location, right? For example, if a fault occur at a point of 1/3 distance from the sending end, the overvoltage occur at a point of 1/3 distance from the receiving end, right? So let us suppose that this is your sending end, this is your sending end of DC transmission line, DC transmission line, and this is the receiving end of DC transmission line, right? Let us suppose if total is 1 unit, right? If fault will occur at a 0.33 per unit from the sending end, if fault will occur at a some 0.1/3 means 0.33 per unit, then over voltage here it will be fault occur, right? And over voltage, this is from 0.33 per unit, here over voltage will occur, over voltage, right? Here this is mirror image of each other. If fault will occur at 1/3 distance from the sending end, then over voltage will occur at this 1/3 distance from the receiving end, right? Now there are two modes of traveling waves on the bipolar DC line. There are two modes. There are two modes of the traveling waves. There are two modes of traveling waves in bipolar DC line, right? There are two modes of traveling waves in bipolar DC line. One is termed as the pole to pole mode, right? And the second is known as the pole to ground mode, right? Pole to pole. There are two modes. One is pole to pole mode, and second is pole to ground mode. Pole to pole mode and pole to ground mode. And if you compare it with that positive sequence, zero sequence, and negative sequence, then in that case, this pole to pole mode is analogous to positive sequence. This is analogous to positive sequence current. Fine. Whereas this pole to ground mode, this will be analogous to zero sequence current. right? So there are two modes of traveling wave in bipolar this DC line. One mode is this pole to pole mode, and second mode is pole to ground mode. And we compare if we compare these mode with sequence the sequence, then you will found that during the pole to pole mode it is analogous to positive sequence, whereas during the pole to ground mode they are just analogous to zero sequence current, right? So if this pre-fault if this pre-fault will pre-fault voltage is V at a given location, fine. If pre-fault voltage is V at a given location, then it can be shown that immediately after the fault, the voltage at the other pole rises by the amount delta V, right? Now, if V is equal to voltage at a pole in pre-fault condition, that means before fault condition, then delta V is the increase in voltage. Delta V is the increase in voltage at second pole during this fault condition, right? During this fault condition, and value of that delta V, that will be given by delta V is equal to Z0 minus Z1 divided by Z0 plus Z1 into V, right? Where V is the voltage during pre-fault condition. Z1 and Z0 are the surge impedance of the first and second mode respectively, right? Right. So this Z1 and Z0, these are surge impedance of first and second mode respectively, right? Z1 and Z0 are surge impedance at first and second mode respectively. First mode and second mode respectively. Right. Now, generally Z0, this Z0 is greater than Z1. Z0 is greater than Z1, and for a typical value for a typical value of Z0 and Z1, for a typical value of Z0 and Z1, delta V is 0.3, right? For typical value, I'm taking one case study. For typical value of Z0 and Z1, value of delta V is 0.3, right? Delta V is 0.3 volt. Fine. Now, the typical, this some conclusion that can be drawn from this study is that just from this overall study, from this overall study of this transient overvoltage, from this overall study of this transient voltage, there are some conclusion. These overvoltage may be studied on some digital computer, right? These overvoltages or these different condition may be studied with the help of some that digital computer, right? We may see that different overvoltage condition or different fault condition wave shapes with the help of some digital computer, and from that wave shapes, it may be concluded that with capacitive termination to the wavefront, overvoltage is unfaulted, overvoltage in unfaulted pole is caused by pole to pole mode, right? With capacitive termination, with capacitive termination, the overvoltage in the unfaulted pole, overvoltage in unfaulted pole with the capacitive termination, the overvoltage in unfaulted pole that is caused by pole to pole mode is caused by pole to pole mode, right? This is the first conclusion that may be taken from that study of the different waves during the faulty condition of the overvoltages. We will just keep that overvoltages on the digital computer, and by study of that overvoltages wave shape, you may concluded that first conclusion is the capacitive termination to the wavefront overvoltages in the unfaulted pole is caused by pole to pole mode, right? Then the resistive termination is the best in case of resistive termination. In resistive termination, Z is equal to Z0 is equal to R, right? Z0 is equal to this Z1 is equal to R, fine, with the resistive termination of the to the wavefront is the best and can achieve by putting R is equal to Z1 in high pass DC filter, right? And it is desirable to provide extra insulation around the middle portion of the DC line to take care of the highest voltage that may occur in that zone, because we had already studied if fault will occur at the one end, fault will occur at the, this is your sending end, this is your receiving end. If fault will occur at the one end of the sending end of the DC transmission line, then over voltage will occur at the same distance from the this receiving end side, right? So to maintain the balance, we will provide this here extra insulation, right, in the mid of the DC transmission line, in the mid of the DC transmission line, to take care of the highest over voltages that may occur in that zone, right? So with capacitive termination, the lowest limit to dV by dt is determined by maximum fault resistance, and it is also necessary to provide a time delay in operation of the protection to prevent tripping of a healthy pole. Typically, this time delay is about 3 millisecond, right? Because if this this fault is like self clearing type fault, there are two types of the fault. One is self clearing and second is non self clearing. Self clearing are the fault which may clear after this 3 millisecond of the occurring, and after that your line will again operate in the healthy manner, that means in the normal manner. So if that fault will not be clear by self, then some circuit breaker or relays are there, which will comes into action, and if that fault will remain for a longer period, then that circuit breaker or relays will operate and it will cause for the interruption of the supply across the line, right? So all this is regarding the transient over voltage in DC line. Now this come to the point that protection of the DC line, the fault current immediately following a fault is limited by the surge impedance, and we had already seen that its value of the surge voltage or transient voltage, that is 2 per unit, right? So if the inverter current control is also active and power reversal in the inverter is permitted, the inverter current is maintained at a valve which refers from the rectifier current by the current margin. Now, for the fast clearing of the fault, for the fast clearing of fault in DC line, right, it is necessary that inverter is not allowed to operate as a rectifier, right? First is inverter is not allowed to operate in rectifier mode. Inverter is not allowed to operate in rectifier mode, and rectifier is put into inverter mode by sudden increase in the delay angle, right? One is inverter is not allowed to operate in rectifier mode, and second thing that is required for the fast clearing of the fault is inverter, that rectifier is put into the inverter mode. Rectifier is put into inverter mode. Rectifier is put into the inverter mode by sudden increase in the delay angle to its maximum limit. By sudden increase in delay angle, at its maximum value, and that maximum value is generally this 135 degree approximately. This will be generally 135 degree approximately. The converter at both the terminal then help in discharging the energy stored in the DC circuit and delivering it to the AC system, right? So one is, now see this, in any of the this if you see that layout here of the HVDC transmission line, then here it will be some generating station. Then after that, after the generating station, here it will be this step-up transformer. Then after that, here is converter station 1, right? Then after that, here this converter station 1 will be act as equivalent to rectifier, right? And this is your DC transmission line. Then here it will be converter station 2, right? This will be act as equivalent to inverter. And here it will be this step down transformer. And after this, there is a load center. After this step down transformer, there is a load center. Now see these two conditions. The inverter is not operating in the rectifier mode. That means this inverter will be operated as such, and rectifier will be put in the inverter mode. That means this will be put in the inverter mode. Right? Now, what does this mean? Both of the converter station are just acting equivalent to inverter. Both of the converter, either we are saying that inverter is not allowed to operate in rectifier mode. This is your inverter, converter station 2. This is your inverter, right? We are, one thing which will be very clear from the power electronic side is that is some, by changing the firing angle or by changing the delay angle, we may put across that inverter as a rectifier and rectifier as an inverter. By changing the firing angle or delay angle, same device may be used as a inverter or rectifier after some very small modification, right? So what we are saying that this inverter is not required to be operated in the rectifier mode. That means this will operate as such. If this is an inverter, this will be remain inverter. And second thing, rectifier is put into the inverter mode. That means by changing the firing angle, we will just put across this rectifier into the inverter. That means both of the converter during this condition will be act as equivalent to inverter, right? And this will converter at both the terminal now will be then help in discharging the energy stored in the DC circuit, right? So by this type, by this typical time of the 0.2 to 0.5 second, the line may be automatically energized by restarting the converter, right? This automatic de-energization and restarting of the DC link is similar to clearing of the fault and automatic recloser in the AC line. Now, if we will be able to arrange such type of the arrangement, right, we will, during the faulty condition, this inverter is not put in the rectifier mode. Rectifier will be put in the inverter mode. Then this may cause your restarting of the line. Due to that, various fundamental change in the value of L and C, right? Due to fundamental change in the value of L and C, there may be a restarting of the line after 0.3 to 0.2 to 0.5 second. After this 0.2 to means for the time period of 0.2 to 0.5 seconds, this will be under the off state, and after that it will be that converter stations will be restarted again. Converter station will be restarted again. And if you compare this with the AC line, then this automatic de-energization and restarting of the DC link is similar to clearing of the fault and automatic recloser of the AC line, right? Already we had discussed, in case of the AC line or in case of the DC line, there are some self-clearing type fault. And that fault may be clear by the line itself. That means line will be just de-energized for few second or few millisecond, and after that clearing of the fault, that contact will be reclose again and your line will be operated as normal. This will happen in case of AC. And similarly, in case of DC, if these things will happen, then there will be just de-energization of the line. Due to that, it will be just suddenly open, and after just a time period of 0.2 to 0.5 second, it will be again closed, and your converter station will be act as equivalent to the normal condition, right? So this clearing and restarting is performed in the DC system using only converter control with the help of protective relays, right? This clearing and restarting may be performed with the help of clearing relays, right? So clearing the relays will perform that operation of the restarting of the DC line. So this is the end of the lecture. We will meet in next lecture again. Thank you.